I can safely say it was not the worst experience of my entire life. I can safely say that. Was it a good experience? There was moments of hope. Here's me getting all waxing wonderfully. There was moments of hope where I thought, oh, this could be interesting in the direction that it's going. And then poof, it crumbled. OMG. It's like, are you kidding me? Now, again, I don't want to disparage the designer of this set because there was effort here. There was genuine effort here. It's not a hodgepodge randomly thrown together. It had potential. It had some thought behind it. But it's like for me, it looks like somebody went to their 14-year-old at the time, who was introduced to classic space, and had probably a few classic space sets at that time, 1983. And they gave them a 6929 and a 6880 box and said, here, both these sets, combine them and see what happens. And this is the result. There isn't too much redeeming about this set in its entirety. Now, again, do I hate it? No, I don't hate any classic space. I do not hate classic space. Is this worse than these? Oh my goodness, I forgot the set number. Wow, that's bad of me. The one I don't like, or the one I don't hate, but the one I like the least. Yes, this is worse than that. This is absolutely worse than that little gray parts pack that some people like, that I call the Snary. Because I respect him and he likes the set, so it's right in my org chart that's the all of a sudden the number escapes my mind. But let me just look that up. Lugnet, I should have been ready for this. .com. Sets, classic space. The good part about Lugnet is it sorts the classic space sets by set number, space classic, and this is a low number if I remember correctly. After 3-digit sets, we get into the 4-digit sets, and let's see if I can find it quickly and easily. Next page. I hate the ads now on the Lugnet page, even though I'm a paid subscriber. Heavy payload spacecraft, 1968. I should remember that because it's the year after I was born. There are redeeming qualities about that one, 1968. I can see better potential of that one, and actually my friends say it's a really good set, so I'm going to believe them. There is, for me, there was, I say, moments of hope for this set, and it just failed. It's just like, yeah, oh, it's Game 7 the other day. that was just disappointing. So let's start with the vehicle, which I thought had the most hope, and it turned out to be really meh. I was liking the wideness and the step ups that they were doing here. I thought this was going to be great, and then they just utterly failed. And again, I was going to take umbrage. I was going to take umbrage. To take homage is completely separate. I was going to take umbrage with using the 1x4 hinge bricks. Oops, here. As they don't even hinge, so it's basically, that's just greebling now. But the little bucket in the back to put stuff in, and a nice space for the guy to be here, and even although not looking great, the stairs up into there. But when you put these things on here, it's just, they break off easy, whatever. The wheels, are you kidding me? You should have just done the 6880. I know you didn't want to do the 6880 repetition of the 12 wheels on here, but that's what you should have done, because having the little tiny nubs of the axle stick out, it just looks chintzy. The little gap there looks chintzy. There's a few other builds, I think it might be on there, where there's a gap, And it's just like, are you kidding me? I don't like that gap. I just don't like the gap. I know there's no pieces left over that you could have filled the gap with, but whatever. Antennas, these guys with just like, they're not even supported on top. They can break off pretty easy. They would just come off pretty easy. The back, okay. I like the snot, a little bit of the snot. Okay, I thought that was a little bit inspirational. I really did. And having it overlap the headlight bricks with the 1x4. Okay, that's okay. They put some effort into this. They built slightly differently than the sets at the time, because basically all the sets at the time were just plates and bricks on top of plates and bricks all studs up. So this is some brick building sideways. So there was moments of inspiration. The wideness here, stepping up with the plates. 1x1, 1x2, 1x1, sure, because that's what you had. Those are the parts you had to work with. Sure. I was like, oh, but sure, I live with that. The bottom part, not too shabby. And again, since you already took this from the 6880 idea, where the 1x2 handles is underneath by the wheels, just reuse the wheel set, the whole wheel set, instead of this. This is driving me crazy. It's really, and again, I don't have enough wheels to support change it into the 680 bottom. Didn't mind this little front part. Of course, that should be gray. But this one, like, there are so many detriments, so many things that make me go, really, and it just detracts from what could have been. I mean, I get that they didn't want to make this a 6880 because they got this, and these, and like, basically so many things that are borrowed from the 6880 into here, but could have been better. Okay, I'm not even going to talk about this. It is not worth talking about. This is just pieces strewn together. Okay, I'm going to talk about a little bit of that. This little back piece. Okay, I like the inspiration of that. Again, slightly greebling-ish, but I like that. Again, they had few pieces to build the box, and adding this little half round here in the back. Okay, nicely done. But the rest of it, no. No. This guy is a monstrosity. It's just an absolute monstrosity. Now, I want to verify this right now, really quick. Yes, I'm 100% right when I built it. I don't even know where to begin with this. I really do not know where to begin with this monstrosity. The only saving grace, the only remote saving grace that I could think about when I was building this thing, was that they used the same thing as in the 6980, the Galaxy Commander, by putting the 2 under so these things wouldn't break as much. So thank you for that. There's nothing about this ship that's redeemable to make it worthy. Nothing. Literally, even a gap here. Like, again, I know your parts pieces were limited. I get that. The parts pieces were limited. The hodgepodge of white and gray for the wings, fine, because your pieces were limited. I get that, because you had a 6929 and a 6880 to build from. I honestly get that. Now, hey, Dave, why don't you get a 6929 and a 6880 and see what you can build? No. Because I probably could do better. I probably couldn't, but I'm a critic now. I'm not a producer. This bottom part, this bottom piece, like, again, limited parts palette, the gaps here, sure, whatever. I was hoping more for this bottom piece when I was building it. I'm going, ooh, this could have potential. Even putting the 1x2 handles on the side here, pointing out from the 1x2 inverted slopes. I was thinking, okay, that's kind of interesting, putting the ladders here, but the ladders here are not connected in any way, shape, or form, and they fall off easy. There's just the 2 studs on top. They're not locked into place. Again, limited parts palette. I get it. This front piece, just throw it out. Just you should have just put the 1x2 with handles on the front. Just throw this out, and put in a turntable. what's the purpose of the turntable? What is the purpose of putting the turntable? Look, it's just spinning right there. That's it. That's it. That's honestly it. The wings, again, they did this with the 6890 and the 6980 with the gap, which when I reviewed both those sets, I was very impressed with that. Here, it doesn't work for me at all. Look at the hodgepodge. Like look at the hodgepodge of colors, of shapes, of textures, of literally everything. It's like bleh, there's pieces. It is. I don't hate it, but I most certainly don't like it. And now that I built it, I have now. It's like I gotta do my comparison to movies again. The 21 movie series franchise of the Avengers movies up to Endgame. Forget the new ones. Most people do want to forget. I don't mind them. Out of all 21 movies, I didn't like the one I liked the least. I like saying it that way. The one I liked the least was Dark World. Out of all of them. Out of all of them. Now, Dark World has some really, really good parts to it, but overall, from Iron Man to Endgame, the weakest one was Dark World. I even like the Incredible Hulk better, and that's saying something because the Hulk is better than the Incredible Hulk. But whatever, Bana is better than the other guy. As the Hulk. Now I like the other guy as an actor, but anyway, Dark World was the weakest one out of all of them until Doctor Strange in the Multiverse. I cannot say enough about how much I disliked that one out of the entire franchise. It was strewn together. It had no heart. It had no redeeming qualities to it. It had no. I had no appreciation for the characters. They ruined both characters for me. And the only redeeming quality of that entire movie was the girl that they were trying to save the entire movie. She was okay. I didn't mind her. but Doctor Strange wasn't Doctor Strange, and Scarlet Witch was like whatever. I didn't like it, and I loved WandaVision, which is basically where it continues on from WandaVision. I adored WandaVision out of all the Marvel TV MCU universes. I love WandaVision. I thought it was brilliantly fantastic, and I was looking forward to watching the next episode every single time. Which is why I found Doctor Strange in the Multiverse to be terribly disappointing. Terribly disappointing. And the worst set of the worst movie in the entire franchise. Now I have this set, and this set has now taken its place at the bottom of the heap of every single classic space set ever produced. Because now I've built all of them. I cannot think of a single classic space set from 1978 to even RoboForce. Going to RoboForce, there's not a single set in that entire line that I have not built yet. That I can remember. Somebody can point out one that, hey Dave, if you built this, maybe life on Mars somewhere. This is singularly the least best set. Singularly. I didn't like the instructions too much. I don't know if they were scanned in properly, but they had the 1x3 white in the one step. And so I was looking for 1x3 whites, and they were not in there. So I actually thought the Piron inventory count was bad. So I went and grabbed the two 1x3 white ones, and then I turned the page and they were yellow. So whatever. That happens. It happens a lot. I just can't I cannot like this set. I don't hate it. I don't hate any classic space, but I cannot like. Oh, so and here's a little gimmick. This thing pulls into here like this, and this thing locks down here like that, and then the ship takes off. So it carries this little thing around, little wheel thing. So that's a redeeming point. I didn't mind that part where they connect together and it's actually locked together by studs. Not just sitting there with tiles and stuff. This thing actually studs into the hook, the connector piece hooks up there. So it doesn't matter, it won't fall out. That's fine. The actual gimmick is fine. The connector point is fine. I thought that was okay. I thought that was okay. I really did. And but right now, in my head, I want to take this whole thing apart and build another Starfleet Voyager and another 6880. But I'll get more out of that than I will out of this. And again, this thing, which is just, are you kidding me? So it's like, okay, let's talk about it really quick. I get what they're going for here, like some sort of sensor array kind of thing, like scanning for whatever, maybe underneath the ground, maybe looking for minerals and geology stuff, whatever. So I didn't mind that. The storage is identical to the 6929, 4x6 with the thing in front, of course, not in the back because that's over there. So I get it, but this thing on top is just putting random pieces together. It really is that. Like, you can say that's some sort of 1950s Lost in Space. Oh, that was 1960s, but 1950s science fiction telescopic antenna. Maybe. But to me, it just looks like they ran out of parts from the 6929 and they just put this together like that. This thing is okay for what it's supposed to do. The base is like an utter waste. I never would have done this. I would have had these ones go the same direction, just like the little base in the 497 928, maybe, and put this thing in the middle. Sure. So I wouldn't have done it this way. I say the only redeeming grace is this thing here. This part here with these tails does remind me again of the 6980. There's many things about this set that I saw in the 6980 that kind of reflected into here. And the 6980 has its flaws, and I mentioned that in my review, where when you take it all apart, the main ship looks squat, like a truncated, wide and stubby, which I think detracts from it. But when the whole thing's together, it's a fantastic looking set. This is basically piece for piece, except they have a 1x4 plate up there, and as I say, the gap in the wings here, 6980, and a few other things remind me of the 6980. Like I said, these things here, right there, fantastic 6980 with the antennas and the 1x1s with the side stud. And again, basically directly ripped off from the 6929, the rocket thing here, except they don't have the extra 2x2 round brick. I don't think the original designer of the classic space sets that worked for Lego, the 3-digit sets, and then the early 4-digit sets up until the Starfleet Voyager and the Galaxy Commander, designed this set. I think this was a promotional set designed by somebody external to the company, and they were given the 6929 and the 6880 and told them to build something. They could have gone to the back of the box for the 6929 for more inspiration. Has 4 different sets. I remember looking at the back of that box in the 6929 and saying, and there were some pretty nifty looking alternative models back there, and they could have just built on that with the 6880. This thing was just, no, absolutely not. So am I going to keep it together? Yes. I am absolutely going to keep it together. Oh my God. I do have one, I think, of every single classic space set ever. At least one. This will be the only one for this one. Yeah, I cannot give it even a 2.5 out of 5. I mean, it's I don't hate it, so it's not a 0 out of 5. I said there was some moments of inspiration when I was building and I'm going, ooh, this is gonna be something cool. And it turns out not to be. But in the end, a 2 at most. At most, to 2. And I've never put a classic space set that low in any other context, in any other classic space set. And I'm the one that makes fun of RoboForce all the time. But even RoboForce sets are pretty okay when you look at them in the specific genre of RoboForce. If you're just looking at RoboForce sets, they're pretty cool. When you compare it to all the other sets, no. But they're not failures. They just kind of look like not as great as Ice Planet or even Insectoids. And again, I cannot I'm one of the few classic space fans that like insectoids. I don't love it. Again, I'm going to point to my 3-digit sets. Um, and like, again, Mtron Space Police 2 and Blacktron 2 as peak of for specific sets. I think the particle ionizer and the Sat 5 and the suborbital guardian, is that the one? For what they are, they're just quintessential, perfect classic space sets. And again, you got the Megacore Magnetizer, you got the Alpha Centauri base, and you got the Message Intercept base, and you have the the 6890 Galaxy Commander, which are all fantastic sets into themselves. And yes, there are some flaws, but overall, well, I can't say that because there's no flaws in the Sat 5. There's no flaws in the Sat 5. And for me, there's no flaws in the particle ionizer. There's none. It's like a 5 out of 5. Those sets are like 4.9999 out of 5 for those guys. The weaker sets are, as I said, in 1968. And those vehicles that are not the uranium search vehicle that I talked about earlier, there are some flaws with those sets that make them down to 3 or whatever. But overall, I cannot. Maybe this is a 1.5 because like I do plan, again, not to get more into this. I do plan on having like a Sweet 16 or whatever, March Madness, probably not in March, where I'm gonna have reconstitute the classic space sets. Again, classic space being from everything from 3 digits to RoboForce and beyond, and have 2 of them compete against each other, and I'll pros and cons of both of them from my perspective, and then I'll say which one's better, and then they'll go on to the next round, and then go to the next round and see who comes out on top. And I'm going to be surprised because again, I do vacillate on some of the sets from day to day. I'm also, so there's going to be like parts, cool builds, interesting features. And then there's nostalgic is going to be a factor, and I'm sorry to say that nostalgia is going to be a huge factor. So usually in the 3-digit sets, the 918 is going to win out of any 3-digit sets because of the nostalgia factor. But I want to go like look at them, but I don't usually take into account the bigness of the set. Like the Galaxy Explorer is big compared to the 924 and the 918, and therefore has a lot more cool features on it, blah, blah. But I do not take usually a bigger set into more consideration than a smaller set. Because again, the Sat 5 is just brilliant. And even going back to the rocket launcher, the 6.9 or 6.8, whatever, the little small rocket launcher, the blue with the white and black rocket on it, not the old gray one, which will probably be eliminated pretty quick. but the next rocket launcher, which I think is a brilliant set for the time. And I'm going to take that into account too, because again, as the parts changed, you could do better and more interesting things with them as classic space went along. Like 1978, you had basic brick and slopes and and plates and wing plates. There was not too many modified bricks or modified plates in the original 3-digit sets. And so they did what they could with them. And what they did was knocking it out of the park, the first set. But the second set after 1981 even got better, and then they got better. But I'm going to try to limit my appreciation of the newest sets because they have the most coolest parts versus the older sets, which has just basic parts. So that's one of my plans. I don't know when I'm going to have time for it. But right now, I had time for this, and I'm just kind of thinking, I will say it wasn't a waste of my time. I'm glad I built it. Again, my friends wanted me to. Thank you. You know who you are. But thank you for sending me the tires and the other parts that I could build the set with. Yes, I am glad I did it. I've been saying for decades that I was never, ever going to build it. And had he not sent, my friend sent me those tires, I probably never would have built it, because I would have forgotten about it and just moved on. But he sent me those tires with basically the proviso. I should read that. Hi, Dave. Here are some parts for the 1593. No more excuses. So there was no more excuses. Feeling humorous. Thank you. And he said it from the Ninjago flap. Again, this is why I adore my friends. So I think that's fantastic. Getting parts that are taped to Ninjago flap. That makes me happy. That makes me. I'm gonna actually keep that. I have another one over here. Here's an old note. Hey Dave, just a few things that I hope will make you smile. Regards. It's my other friend, a friend of the channel, and back hidden in there. Oh no, it's right here. It's one of my favorite things ever, and it was a minifig box for my birthday. She bought me a minifig box, and I won't say who it's from, but it says happy birthday to my fave Lego fan. Well, I'm her. She's top drawer for me. There are two people, Jeffy and Janie, are just my closest and dearest friends in this community. Everybody's a close and dear friend. Janie and Jeff, I will move the world for, because they're utterly fantastic Lego fans, and they've been my friend for ages. And I do appreciate that, but I also appreciate everybody else who helped me along the way and has thought about me and has done things over and above, like sending me 4 tires. And again, I cannot thank you enough for that. And the other parts too that I needed to complete this thing. I can't, it was wonderful. It was very sweet and sincere. And you gave me the impetus to actually do it and to review it, to say it is my least favorite set. I'm gonna leave it together. I'm actually gonna leave it together. Am I gonna bring it tomorrow? I don't know. You'll see this video after the show. So if you see videos of the show and you see it in the layout, you know I brought it. I'm gonna sleep on it because I'm going to bed now because it is 12:30. That was a good night. I really liked this night. It was a fun night, and in the end, I built it. I built it. Everybody knows I built it. I'm gonna get a t-shirt made up, 1593, with a big picture of that thing on my t-shirt. It is what it is. I will say there was, not to dwell on how things could have been slightly different, but there was, I don't think it's called it might be called the aerial intruder. It's the flying ship in Blacktron 2 that has, basically it's an homage to the original Futuron 202, with the center canopy pops up, the big huge quarter dome piece. These rocket thrusters are hanging off the 2x2 L bracket, basically, on the top, and that reminded me of I think it's called the aerial intruder. I could be wrong, aerial intruder, but that big one that had the 2 vehicles in the center, also reminiscent again of the 6980 with the rockets on the 2x2 L bracket, but they hid that one better. It went over top of the 1x brick that goes through the center of the lengthwise of the wings, but basically they had that overlapping there too. So I mean, the bottom, like, what is that? What? It's fine. It's fine. In the end, it's fine. I would say clearly that, just off the top of my head, I could not have done better with those 2 sets to build something unique. If I built anything, it would look like the Starfleet Voyager. If I built anything, it would be like a bigger 6880. And they said, oh, you just basically made it bigger. I may challenge myself at some point to, I don't have the parts now because you saw I have short parts here, to grab all the parts and see if from the I get them right there, the 6880 and the 6929, and see if I could build something. But it would look like a classic space set, because I would use the wings and stuff. So I don't know. I honestly don't know. It is my least favorite set, and that's okay, because 6880 to 6991. Anything outside that? I mean, there are some really good sets outside that, but that is my center. 6880 to 6991 is my zone of classic space, and that's why RoboForce, it doesn't even go in there. So anyway, that's it. That's all. I'm going to bed now. You guys all stay safe, take care, and I will talk to you soon.